Good morning. All right, so this one is going to be about monks. Some stuff has been going on in our Monday night game, but so that's partially what's inspiring this. One player was playing a monk, and for a variety of reasons, they didn't perform super well. The monk was built fine, but that's kind of an issue with monks. We've been discussing it back and forth for a while, and this is also kind of a video I wanted to talk about for a little while as well. But basically, monks are kind of bad. This is not a hot take. This isn't even really a take. That monks are kind of bad. They can work, and there's no reason they can't. But to be like really effective, like a lot of the time, to be just as effective as a fighter of the same level, monks need like really high stats, and then even then, they might be able to do as many attacks as the fighter. It's a whole thing until they run out of resource. You know, I'm all over the place right now, but the basic idea is monks have a few problems. So I'm going to go over them. The first problem is pretty ubiquitous. They run out of ki pretty fast because they have ki equal to their level. So if you're level 10, you have 10 ki points, and you get them back on a short rest. That sounds reasonable because you think about sorcerers get their points back on a long rest, and they run out of them. But it's like they're like enough. But I would argue that a sorcery point is much more powerful than a ki point. So basically, what do you call it? What do you do with ki points? Well, baseline flurry of blows, you get an extra attack most of the time. Now the thing is, that is an unarmed attack. So without any special items or anything like that, it's going to be basically a scimitar for a lot of the game. I think martial arts die doesn't jump up to a D8 until like level 10 or something like that. So before that, it's basically just a scimitar, which isn't amazing, but it's not terrible. And getting an additional one, landing 4 attacks, is cool. So the monk being able to do a bunch of attacks is cool. Now, at level 10, right there, you are consistent, even without spending ki. You're going to get 2 attacks as your main action, and a bonus action attack. So you're doing more attacks than a fighter. But spoilers, fighters, instead, they can use weapons. And guess what that means? They can use Sharpshooter or Great Weapon Master, the main optimized damage feats in this game. Like, to the point that, as far as optimized discussion in the raw baseline rules is concerned, Sharpshooter and Great Weapon Master are the baseline. If you're not using them, you're not doing good damage. And in individual tables, that's different, especially in our game. For example, I was in this Monday night game, my main character is a barbarian, and I was like, all right, I'm going to take Great Weapon Master around level 8. I was thinking, okay, yeah, pump up my damage a bit, get it to that good baseline. And then, basically second or third session, I got a Flame Tongue Great Axe. It's like, okay, well now my damage is good. Is a lot better without Great Weapon Master. Maybe I'll wait till level 12. And then later on in the campaign, that Flame Tongue Great Axe got upgraded. Instead of doing an extra 2d6, it does 4d6. So just the weapon itself, I'm doing more extra damage than Great Weapon Master does. So it became a lot less attractive. I'm still going to take Great Weapon Master with that character at some point, just because of the bonus action attack you can get with that. Because you get a bonus action attack when you crit or kill something. That character doesn't crit very often, but even though he's a bard. But that, like, when you kill something, that'll still be useful for the extra attack, especially when it comes up. But that is one of the main things with monks. There's not a lot of synergies you can build out with them. Like, because of the way two-weapon fighting works, you can't use two-weapon fighting because you're already using your bonus action for all your unarmed strikes, so you can't use it for your offhand weapon, which otherwise sounds like a really cool way to invest your monk. You get a fighting style from somewhere to upgrade your two-weapon fighting, maybe take dual wielder, and now, like, you know, you're doing multiple attacks with your action, and you get bonus action on arm strikes, kick a guy in the dick. And in the 1D&D playtest, that's how they changed two-weapon fighting for one of the playtests, where the offhand attack no longer uses your bonus action, and that is probably my favorite fix for two-weapon fighting, because there's too many things that use your bonus action that just conflict, so that, like, two-weapon fighting becomes this, like, oh, if you're not using your bonus action, you could do this, but it's bad. But that's a separate discussion, that's a separate thing. Anyway, then monks can't use Great Weapon Master. Alright, cool. Because they can't use heavy weapons and use their martial arts stuff. Like, I mean, one, they don't even get proficiency with heavy weapons. So you'd have to get that proficiency from somewhere else. But it doesn't synergize. You can't really use it. There are builds that use, like, longer range weapons, like ranged weapons, like a bow. Like a Kensai monk can use a bow, or a different monk can, like, grab a light crossbow or a hand crossbow and do some shit. Then that actually kind of becomes reasonable, because you can use sharpshooter, and then you get key fueled strike, where when you miss, you can add a certain amount per key. Like, you can spend key points and add a +2 to your attack roll after you see that it misses. And then also, right? Maybe I'm getting the features confused, but you get that. You can use key to upgrade your to hit, and then whenever you do that, you can just make a weapon attack as a bonus action. That works out, actually. I've seen it called a gunk. It's really funny. But point is, there's not a lot of ways to synergize, like, with feats or with items in the base rules. Like, with a regular monk, you can grab Crusher, and that's kind of it. Unless you're playing a race that gives you an unarmed strike, or a natural weapon like some claws, and then you can take, like, Slasher, because those unarmed strike, like the natural weapon, they work with your unarmed martial arts, so, you know, you can change the damage type effectively. But like, that's kind of it. There's not a whole lot of direct damage synergies with a monk. And as far as optimization is concerned, that's a problem. Now, if you have high stats, like if you roll really well, like for this upcoming Spotlight in the Monday game, I'm playing a monk, and I rolled really good stats for him. I rolled like 3 17s. That's nonsense. So at level 13 we're playing, he's got a 20 dex, a 20 wisdom, 18 con. He's fucking golden. So his plus to hit is good, his AC is good, everything's good. His stunning, his save DCs are really strong, and I'm also playing a homebrew poison theme subclass, which is a lot of fun, and that actually goes a little way to shore up the damage. But, like, average damage at this level for spending key points using the Mercy Monk as a baseline, I believe the baseline, the average damage, if everything hits, like, it's like around a little under 50. It's like 45, which is good, but you're using resources. Whereas a sharpshooter fighter at level 13, spending their resources. Now, a key point is not the same as action surge, but, you know, we'll say a battle master or a samurai fighter, it kind of doesn't matter as much as far as our math is concerned. Granted, a battle master fighter is going to have precision strike, and they can add a D8 to their hit roll, so they can use that with sharpshooter. So they're going to be making 6 sharpshooter attacks, let's say. And I do want to preface, these are very different builds. They're doing different things. Like a monk is running up and punching things, where a sharpshooter fighter is shooting things from a distance. But we're just looking at pure damage. The fighter could also be doing this with Great Weapon Master. Battle Master or Samurai is not exclusive to using ranged weapons. But they're going to be doing... Like, the monk is going to be using a single key point on their turn. Maybe using focused aim. That's the feature where you spend key to upgrade your hit. Maybe spending a little on that to make sure they hit and stuff. But they're going to be doing like 45 to 50 damage if everything hits. If they're lucky. If they roll well. Or actually, no, they're usually going to... No, it's like 40s. Not closer to 50, it's closer to 40. Because without the Mercy Monk thing, it's like 38 without items. Anyway, so the sharpshooter fighter is going to be doing, like, let's say he's using a hand, let's say he's just using a bow. No bonus action attacks, like no feats besides sharpshooter. So he's using a bow, with 4.5 plus 5 plus 10 if he hits. So that is what? 15, that's 19.5 damage a hit. We'll just round up and say it's 20. So he's doing 20 damage a hit. That per hit is half of what the monk does in their entire turn. So without action surge, they're doing 60-ish damage a hit. With action surge, they're doing 120. And this damage is actually a little higher if they're doing Great Weapon Master, because then the dice is, instead of 4.5, it's 7 with a greatsword. Not a huge difference. Still around 20-ish damage a hit. So, kind of irrelevant difference. But it points out that both of these, Sharpshooter and Great Weapon Master, why they're the baseline. So that's one of the big reasons for monks, because a lot of tables, again, our table excluded, a lot of other tables, that's the baseline for good melee damage, and monks simply can't keep up. Now, if you wanted to fix these things, how do you fix them? Well, I've seen lots of different monk fixes and big sweeping changes to the class. I think the simplest thing to do is, 1, give them more ki. And there's a lot of ways to do it. You can add your proficiency bonus to ki. You can add your wisdom modifier to ki. You could do both. I think I like wisdom bonus because you are on average going to get more ki up front. Like, a monk is going to want at least 16 wisdom at level 1. So at level 2, early on, they're going to get 3 extra ki. That bumps up your starting ki from 2 at level 2 to 5. That's pretty good. That's a good amount of ki right at the start. And it's also enough, I feel like it's enough ki to like round out the ki you're not, round that out and just give you a little boost in usability. Now, I've seen other changes where it's like, okay, your main ki pool, that comes back in a long rest now. But your wisdom ki pool, that comes back on a short rest. I don't like that as much. But I've also seen the, like, even more extreme, your main ki pool comes back on a long rest, or you don't even have your leveling ki at all, and you just get your wisdom ki points per turn. They come back every turn. That's a really interesting idea, but it's outside the normal design of 5e, and just giving extra ki points, I think, goes a long way. Now also give a way to recover key points. Say like in the middle of combat. And this is something in Fizzbands, there was an item called the Dragonhide Belt. This helps out your key save DC, and it gives you an option, like I think it's once a day, you can just recover 5 key. It's something. It's not amazing. It's probably not exactly how I would do it, but it helps. That helps a lot. Maybe that should be per short rest instead. So basically you get an extra 5 key per short rest. That's cool. I like it either way. That does go a good long way. And also making it, you use an action to recover, or whatever it is. Maybe it's a bonus action. You can recover key points as a choice. So I think that helps a lot, because now when you need that key, you can get it. That helps a lot. Damage, like just the pure damage that a monk does, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. One, there's feats you can take, like you can take the Fey Touched feat and grab Hunter's Mark. That helps. But your concentration checks might not be amazing, especially not till level 14 when you get con save proficiency. And it's only once per day, unless you somehow have other spell slots. Really, the simple answer is your DM has to give you some magic item that gives you a boost. Like you can take Eldritch Claw Tattoo and Insignia of Claws, get a good boost to hit and damage. Some other way, like Special like Flame Tongue Brass Knuckles. But, there's a lot of ways to do that, and I don't have answers for that besides just give your monk some hand wraps that light on fire. Yeah, that's all I got for today.